Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
Triple H has sent messages to Jade Cargill and Cody Rhodes following their Queen and King of the Ring victories. While the American Nightmare got a clean victory over Randy Orton, Cargill's win was controversial as the match ended with a botch. Cody Rhodes and Jade Cargill became this year's King and Queen of the Ring, respectively. Rhodes defeated Randy Orton in the finals of the men's tournament while Cargill got the better of Asuka. However, Jade was involved in a botch during the pinfall as she fell back during the 3 count, which resulted in Asuka's shoulders being off the mat. While many have argued that the female star's win should not have been counted, the company has proceeded with the controversial finish. Triple H recently took to X to send a message to the former TBS champion, noting that she has been dominant since joining the global juggernaut and now has an opportunity to challenge for a singles title. She's been nothing but dominant since her arrival, and now a win over one of the best earns her a singles championship match for the first time. Congratulations at Jade_Cargill, Triple H wrote. The game also addressed Cody Rhodes' win, noting that he's on the path to reclaim the undisputed WWE Championship. The path back to the undisputed championship starts now for Cody Rhodes. #WNOG, Triple H wrote. Will Triple H address Jade Cargill's controversial win at Night of Champions? Jade Cargill vs Asuka ended on a similar note to Gunther vs Randy Orton at King and Queen of the Ring 2024. The ring general defeated the Legend Killer at the event, but the latter's shoulder was not fully on the mat when the referee counted the pin. Triple H addressed the issue after the show and noted that while the referee's decision was final, there would likely be a rematch between the two. The rematch took place at Bash in Berlin, where Gunther once again defeated Orton. WWE could take the same route with Jade Cargill and Asuka and announce a future rematch between the two. However, the chances of that happening are minimal this time, as the storyline seems to be heading towards a cash-in from Naomi when Cargill wins or is on the verge of winning the WWE Women's Championship. The Empress of Tomorrow could, however, get compensated with a match against Io Sky, as many want to see the two clash at the biggest party of the summer. The bright lights of Jeddah's arena were still burning hours after Night of Champions had gone off the air. Backstage, the energy had shifted from adrenaline-charged roars to hushed whispers and the faint clatter of production crew packing up. But one room, tucked away behind security and heavy curtains, still hummed with tension. Inside, Jade Cargill sat on a steel folding chair, still in her gear, black and emerald green with her signature logo across the chest, staring down at her taped hands. Her breathing was steady now, but her mind was replaying it over and over, the mistimed kick, the awkward cradle, the referee's hand slapping the mat too soon, the confused pop from the crowd that turned into stunned silence. This was not how her first Night of Champions was supposed to end. She'd come into WWE with all the hype in the world. Undefeated streaks, star power, social media on fire, Jade Cargill was marketed as unstoppable. Tonight was supposed to cement that aura. Instead, a mistimed spot had everyone talking for the wrong reasons. A gentle knock pulled her from the spiral. She looked up just as the door swung open. There, framed by the corridor's flickering lights, stood Triple H, the Game himself, now the head of creative, the man who had personally fought to bring her into this world. He didn't walk in like a boss about to give a lecture. He entered like a coach checking on a prized fighter who'd just gone too many rounds. "Hey, Jade," he said, voice low but warm. He shut the door behind him. "Hey, Hunter," Jade replied, her voice steady, but her eyes betrayed the swirl inside her head. He pulled over another chair, turned it backward, and sat with his arms folded across the backrest. "I know you've been replaying it," he started. "I know that look. I've worn that look." She managed a small smile. "Guess you know the feeling, huh?" He chuckled. "Botches? Blown spots? You kidding? I could write a book on 'em. Ask anyone who's ever laced up boots, the only people who don't mess up are the ones who never did it at this level." Jade sighed, tilting her head back, eyes at the ceiling. It was supposed to be perfect. The streak, the big finish. Now all anyone's gonna say is she's green, she's not ready, she's just hype. Triple H leaned forward. His eyes locked onto hers with that trademark intensity that once made grown men flinch across the ring. "Let him talk," he said, measured but fierce. "They don't get it. What you did out there tonight. Even with the botch? That's pressure only a handful of people will ever understand. You didn't freeze. You didn't quit. You finished. And you walked back here with your head up." She snorted softly. "Didn't feel like my head was up. Look around. Some of the best in the world have blown finishes in front of stadiums. Rock. Austin. Shawn. Me. And we survived. We got better. Sometimes those moments teach you more than 10 perfect matches ever could." He paused, letting his words sink in. Jade's hands tightened around her wrist ape, tearing at the edge. "You know what the real problem is?" Triple H asked, voice dropping like a challenge. "What?" she murmured. "You care too much," he said, cracking a grin. "And that's the best problem you can have in this business. If you didn't care, I'd be worried. If you were back here laughing it off like it didn't matter, I'd wonder if we bet on the wrong star. But you're sitting here beating yourself up because you want this to be great. That's how I know you'll fix it." He stood up then, towering over her, but somehow not in a way that felt intimidating. More like a mentor passing on a burden he knew she could carry. "Listen, Jade," he continued. "This little stumble? It's not your story. It's just a page. Tomorrow morning, this gets turned into fuel. The team will work with you on pacing, timing, we'll run it back on TV if we have to. We protect you, because you're worth protecting." She nodded, finally lifting her eyes fully to meet his. There was still a storm behind them, but there was resolve now too. "You really think we can run it back?" she asked. Triple H laughed. "Are you kidding me? People love a redemption story. Next week on Raw or SmackDown, we fix the record. You want another shot at that finish? You'll get it. You'll hit it clean, the crowd'll blow the roof off, and every She's Not Ready headline will flip to She's the Real Deal." He extended his hand, broad and calloused from decades in the ring. She hesitated for only a second before gripping it tight. "You got this, Jade," he said firmly. "And I've got you. We all do. Now, get showered, get some rest. Tomorrow's another day." She let out a slow breath, the weight on her chest lifting, if only slightly. "Thanks, Hunter," she said quietly. "Anytime. That's why I'm here," he replied with a small smirk. "And next time? Maybe try to kick her in the face a little less gently, huh?" She laughed, really laughed, the sound echoing off the locker room walls. Triple H patted her shoulder, then turned for the door. "Oh, and Jade," he added, glancing back over his shoulder. "Welcome to the big leagues. You belong here. Never forget that." She watched him go, the door swinging shut behind him with a soft click. The corridor lights dimmed, but the fire inside Jade Cargill's chest burned a little brighter than before. The botched finish still stung. It would probably sting for days. But now she had something more powerful than perfection. She had the promise of another chance. Another match. Another finish done right. Outside, the arena crew pulled down the final pieces of the massive Night of Champions set. Another show was over. But for Jade Cargill, the real fight was just beginning.